DJ Metal Craig of Craig's Maelstrom here, and I have one of the members of Kicker with me today. Hey, how's it going? Would you like to introduce yourself and what position you do in the band? And hopefully, I got the band name right.
First of all, yes, you did. You got the band name perfect. Craig, my name is Pete Blasco. I'm the drummer in the band Kicker. We're from Morris County, New Jersey. That's where we're based out of.
Can I get you to go back briefly and summarize how Kicker all got started?
We really started back in August of 2021, and the four of us basically knew each other way before that. A couple of us were in bands prior to that, and we weren't really, I guess the four of us, we weren't really doing much at that time. We were just kind of, hanging out sort of. But we had the idea of let's get into the studio and just jam, just see what happens. It wasn't really supposed to be anything serious. We just for old time's sake. And then chemistry wise, we just clicked. It just, we're like, wait, we got something here, and we rehearsed at my guitar player Bruce McConnell's studio in Wharton, New Jersey. It's a place called DFX Studio. So, we were that's like our home away from home. We basically just started from there. Like I said, about over 5 years ago, and we just took off from there. You know, so it's we only had one lineup change in the band, and we've been just going ever since.
Cool. And before we get into that question, I'd like to thank Pavement Entertainment for setting up with this interview today.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Pavement has been fantastic to us.
right on. How did you come up with the band name Kicker?
That was my guitar player Bruce's idea mainly. We were, no pun intended here, but kicking names around when we decided to get serious about it, and we had a whole list of names, and some stuck, some didn't, some were good, some weren't so good. And then they just said, "Hey," and it was originally spelled with a C in there, and we're just like, let's just change. It's basically when we get on stage, we just like to go up there and kick butt. That's kind of what the thing behind that was. So we just decided to make it more interesting by changing the spelling of the name, and that's how we. That's it's just a real simple history behind how that got going.
This next one's a bit of a stumper, but always a good one I ask the bands. Who designed the Kicker band logo?
I think our guitar player Bruce did. I just remember we settled on the name, we all agreed on it, and then next thing you know, we came up with this logo. I don't know exactly where he got it from. It was maybe he designed it somehow, or he had somebody design it for him. I'm not sure. But as soon as he showed it to us, we fell in love with it. We're like, that's it, you know.
Right on. I just want to let you know the logo looks absolutely awesome. I saw
Thank
when I
you.
Googled it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We
Yeah.
all do.
This one's always a good one. What are the band's immediate music career goals?
I think with all of that, I'm pretty sure I can speak on behalf of everybody in our band that we just want to go as far with this as we can. We've gotten so far right now beyond where we ever dreamed we'd be, And again, thanks to Pavement and Tim and those guys, their whole team there, they really have put us in a position really to succeed. And we just love performing. That's our favorite thing to do. There's all this other stuff that goes on around it, but we just want to go as far as we can, and we like to share our music with anybody who loves it and likes to listen to it, and whoever's willing to give us a shot. So that's pretty much where our goals are. Go as far as we can and just enjoy it. We're enjoying the ride. We really are. We're loving it.
Hopefully, this next one I get the album title right in because I got it from the info in the MP3s that was given to me. How did you guys come up with the Kicker album title, Hard Hitting Rock and Roll for the new album?
Hard hitting rock and roll. Oh, I we have to thank a friend of ours for that one. Guy named I'm going to give him a shout out, Charlie Spataro. I hope I spelled it, pronounced his last name correct. He's in a tribute band called a Poison tribute band called Get Poisoned, and they were playing a lot of shows, and they asked us if we'd be their opener for a couple of them. But he also, so we agreed to that, and then to put the flyer together to promote it, he's also a graphic designer, so he put our logo in there, but he added the hard hitting rock and roll. That was his idea. He put that right under our name for that promotion, and we just looked at it. I was like, "That's us. That's we're in your face rock and roll. That's what we like to try to be." And what he put under there just really perfectly described it. And he said, "Yeah, you can use that if you want to." So we've been using that ever since.
Right
It
on.
really just sums up the band, like what we're all about.
Okay, cool. This next one's a really good one. And I'm gonna ask you about one of the songs off the four I heard off the album that were given to me by Pavement Entertainment. What were the themes and concepts behind the song Fight to the End?
Um, if I have this correct, it's really that was my our bass player Brian's idea. He came up with the basic everything with that song. It's pretty much his baby, as we call it. It's really just a song about. I mean, it's fictional, but it could be true. Um, it's really about government going corrupt and trying to run everybody's lives in that regard. And then there's some individuals out there, or at least a group of people, that are trying to stand up against that. They're getting walked all over and they don't like it. So they're kind of starting like a revolution to come back and saying, hey, that's not right. We're going to fight this to the end, and that's really basically what the song's about. And like I said, it's a fictional thing. It's not based on anything in particular.
That's cool, man. This next one's a really good one.
Thank you. Thank you. That's seems like everybody likes that. I mean, we have a lot of songs that a lot of people like, but that one seems to stick out with everybody.
There's one other out of the four that I had that stuck out. I just don't remember the song title off the top of my head. I have to look it up in my music player later.
Okay.
Because there was two favorites that hit me hard out of the four that was given to me by Pavement Entertainment. Like all four, they were really good, well produced, well mixed, well mastered. But the one that hit home with me, and I thought I'd get to talk about this today, was Fight to the End.
Yeah, that was it's the last track on the EP. That was done in a place called GD Ponderosa Recording Studios in Lafayette, New Jersey. Our producer Tom Askin was, he was the engineer behind that. We got to thank him for that because he did a phenomenal job. And anytime we have any other recording, we usually go right to him for that because he never disappoints.
I was going to ask you the next one: Who mixed, mastered, and produced hard-hitting rock and roll?
Yeah, I probably answered the question already, but that was Tom Askin from GD Ponderosa Recording Studios. He did everything. We were in the studio. We recorded everything. He was, did our part, and then once it was all done, he did all the mixing, the mastering, everything. So we were very, very happy with the results.
With hard-hitting rock and roll out February 27th, where can the album be ordered?
It's really at the moment, we only if we want to get it digitally, you can get it on Spotify, Amazon, any of those platforms. It's on streaming all over the place, everywhere, just about. We every time I post on Facebook, I provide a link on there so they can go. Anybody can go directly there too. As far as the hard copy, the physical CD, it's really I don't think there's any stores right now, but we just it's available at any shows that we have.
Right on. Who
We have a
designed
picture.
the?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I didn't know you were going to add something there. Sorry about
Oh
that.
no, just our physical copies. Any of our merchandise, including the CDs, are always available at any shows that we do.
Okay, cool. Who designed the hard-hitting rock and roll album art?
As far as there's a lot of hands in that one. As I said before, our guitar player Bruce designed came up with the design for the actual logo. Then the other gentleman Charlie added that hard hitting rock and roll in there. But then so we had those graphics already. So when it came time to go to disc makers and have it made, they asked us to upload any art. So I just fiddled around with everything. I just put that in there and I used some software online so I could, do the backside of the album cover, all that kind of stuff. But all that design, like I said, there's a lot of hands in there. But the final product, that was just all I did was took what they had already, and I kind of just put it into what we have now, what you see online there. I just uploaded it to Pavement. I uploaded it to disc makers, anywhere we needed it to be done. And as far as the photos too, all those photos were done in our studio, our rehearsal studio. Um, and then we just added a background to them, changed that around a little bit if we felt like we wanted to. And then that's been our graphics, just for promotion and stuff.
I thought it looked pretty cool what you had set up there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, as soon as we saw hard hitting rock and roll, especially my guitar player and I, we saw that, we were just speechless because I was like, that fits us to the T. There's no other explanation needed. So we've been keeping that in there pretty much ever since.
That's pretty badass, man. This next one's a good one because it gives you a chance to list off the band members. Who's all in the band lineup and what instruments do they play?
We have Brian Ernst. He's also the one that, well, we all covered all the songs, but he's his Fight to the End's his baby. I always have to shout that out to him. He plays bass. He's our bass player. We have Bruce McConnell. He's our guitar player, rhythm and lead guitar player. And he does some backing vocals. Brian, our bass player, also does some backing vocals. And then Metal Mike Brown, he's our lead vocalist. And then I play drums.
And this next one, before we get into the one after that, it's the next one I'm throwing in. Please give some drum tips or advice for starting up drummers to help them get themselves better.
Oh boy. Let me see. Best thing I can tell anybody that wants to get started on drums, I mean, if you really want to, just get yourself like a very basic drum kit, something very basic. And by basic, I mean like a bass drum, maybe a snare drum, one tom tom, couple cymbals, and that's good enough to start with. And just keep practicing on it. I mean, if you want to take lessons from somebody, that's a great way to start. There's plenty of online videos, but you can also physically go to a teacher. And I would just say, I mean, the way I started was I fell in love with the drums when I was oh man, I was like in grades. I was like 12 years old, I think, and I saw a friend of mine had a snare drum, and I banged away. And that was when I first got interested in it, but I didn't actually pursue it until I was like more in eighth grade. I saw this cover band locally to my area. They were doing Kansas Carry On Wayward Son, and I fell in love with the drums because I saw how he was playing it. I was like, that's what I want to do. So I got started myself just by a basic kit my mom bought me for like $80 when I was real little. And I just started banging away, and I took a couple lessons, but mostly self-taught. And I think just that's basically all I can tell anybody else is just start from there. You just do basic stuff, and you just kind of, and the more you get into it, you're either going to see that you like it or it's not for you. But if you like it, you just keep pursuing that and just keep doing anything you can to improve. Listen to other artists and improve from there. Just keep going like that. So I don't know if that really makes sense, but that's the best way I can describe it.
Before we get into the next question, I just got to clear my throat for a second, so sorry about this. And the next question is going to be, what advice do you have for people who want to form their own bands?
I would say that would almost be almost the same idea in my just from my experience, my opinion. I mean, I think the hardest part of starting any band is chemistry. You could all like the same kind of music, but there's variations of what people might want to do. Some people want to stick to original, some people want to do covers. Maybe you want to do a combination. You all have to kind of be on the same page there, but you also have to get along in order to really be successful. I mean, you can do it without that to some degree, but I think that's one of the most important parts that make a band. In our case, we're friends first, number one, on top of anything else. And that's what makes us work so well. And I would just say, just put something together, see if you click. And if you do, just keep going from there. Decide what kind of music, whether it's heavy metal or any kind of other genre that you want to do. Um, and just everything. If you have the chemistry and you're all on the same page, things will fall into place. But it takes time. So, don't just when I say don't, I was about to say don't rush into it. Take your time with it and make sure you click and just rehearse as often as you can. As long as you guys are together and you're really you got something going. Just keep pursuing it from there. It's best as far as just getting it started. That's the best thing I can think of.
We got five more for the interview, and then I'll need a couple of stationaries.
Okay.
Does the band have any band gear endorsements?
At this time, to my knowledge, no, we do not.
If you could get a band gear endorsement for the members, which one would you want for yourself?
For myself personally, I would say probably, even though I have a Tama kit and a Pearl kit, I'd probably go with Tama. I've been really with Tama for a long time, many years, and they've never disappointed me. I've been very happy with their gear, everything I've ever got from them, and so yeah, for me personally, I probably if I had a chance to have an endorsement, I mean, I would take it from any other vendor too. It wouldn't just be Tama, but that would be my main choice.
So next one is a really good one. What social media outlets can the band be reached on? Things such as Facebook and other media outlets like Instagram and all that.
Or where can they find us?
Yeah.
Yeah, our Facebook page is facebook.com/kikker band New Jersey. Just remember, kicker is always spelled with two K's in it in the middle. So kicker band NJ, I should say. We also have a regular website that's kicker rocks, two words, kickerrocksnj.com. That's our main website. And I think we're also on Instagram, but I can't remember what the colors are for that. I just know that it's attached to my Facebook. So whenever I do a post, it goes automatically onto. I am at I think drummer Pete B on Instagram. So that's one place I could go to check out anything we have.
Does the band have a YouTube channel?
We're still working on that. We don't have it really ready to go right now, but we're working on that.
Okay. And I'm going to sneak one more in before the last question of the interview. Who are the band's musical influences?
I think we all have different people that we really like. I know my guitar player is more geared towards like classic, like Deep Purple, and even and bands like that. Um, Even more classic, like even Jeff Beck. He's more. I think that's where his influences come from. I'm personally more into like heavy metal. I like a lot of hard rock too, but my favorite band in the world is Iron Maiden. Been a fan of theirs for probably over as long as I've been playing drums, probably even before that. And the other guy is like Mike is like me too. He's very much into into the metal, hard rock. Our influences are everything from Dokken to um, even Burning Witches. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but Burning Witches, Maiden, Priest, as far as just metal, just about everything out there. I don't think there's a band out there that we don't like, that we're not influenced in some way by. And Brian's about the same way too. I think we're all basically, for the most part, we all have basically the same influences.
Right on. Before we get into the last question of the interview, funny thing you mentioned Burning Witch is about 3 years ago, I think it was. I interviewed them for Nuclear Blast Records.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
I said 3 years ago, I interviewed Burning Witches for Nuclear Blast Records at an old radio
Oh,
station.
oh, they are awesome too. I love that band.
Cool, down to earth chicks. I had a fun time with that interview when I did it.
That is very cool. I know. I think one of the bands on our label actually had the opportunity of performing with them recently too. So I was like, oh man, I wish we could. Well, hopefully we'll be at that point sometime. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, I've got major labels like Seasons of Mist, Nuclear Blast, Metal Blade. I got Pavement Entertainment. I've got what was the other one I was had that was big? Uh Epic Rec Eclipse Records. run by Chris Poland, who used to be in Megadeth.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. That's pretty cool. He's awesome too.
Yeah. And that's going to lead us into the last question of the interview because we have about 6 minutes left and I need to get the station ID still.
Okay.
What new band news do you have on the kicker front? As in anything that we might have missed for the fans of the band, old and new.
You mean anything coming up, you mean?
Anything new coming up that the fans might be interested in that's that were fans old and new for the band.
As far as upcoming things, this Friday coming up, we are playing at the Chiller Theater Spring Expo 2026, which is at the Hilton Hotel in Parsippany, New Jersey. We'll be playing there with some of our other friends that are in some of the bands there. We've been playing there, like we play there usually twice a year. We'll be there this Saturday. So anybody in the area, come on down. Band started 8:30, but we're not sure what the band order is going to be. It's always different every time we get there. But we have some other shows coming up in, I believe, in September, early September. We got something lined up. We got a few other shows in the works right now. And we got more merch coming too, stuff like that. We're talking about possibly going in to do another video, a band video. We just got to set that up and get that going. So got a few things in the works.
Right on. And that leads us
And
to the station
and
IDs.
also, one more thing I just want to say, anybody wants to check out our websites or follow us on Facebook, our updates for any shows we have, all the updates of current shows, anything we do will be on those websites too.
Sure, no problem. Thank you very much for your time. And now for the station IDs. The first one is, hey, this is Pete of Kicker, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
Oh, you want me to say that?
Yep,
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again?
it's hey, this is Pete of Kicker, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
Hi, this is Pete from Kicker, and you're listening to Mangled Music
Radio.
Radio.
Take
Glad to
two,
be.
just to be safe.
This is Pete from Kicker, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
Radio.
Try it again.
Try it one last time.
Okay. This is Pete from Kicker, and you're listening to Metal Music Radio.
Mangled.
This is Pete from Kicker, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
You got it now, and we need one more for Rock Addict Radio.
This is Pete from Kicker, and you're listening to Rock Addict Radio.
Sorry, my nose cleared up there by accident, but you're gonna have to do one more take on that one. My mistake.
Okay. This is Pete from Kicker, and you're listening to Rock Addict Radio.
And then the last one from my personal show, Craig's Metal Storm.
This is Pete from Kicker, and you're listening to Craig's Metal Storm.
Cool. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you so much for having me.